Would you debate for love? And despite everything, say you won't give up. Would you debate for love? And despite everything, say you won't give up. Don't give up.
Hey guys, and welcome to Debate for Love, a brand new show about dating and relationships. Before we get started, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube on Debate for Love. And yeah, I'm your host Kev, and today we've got a panel of guests that we'd like to share on modern day relationship. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, we're going to start with Olivia. Please introduce yourself on what you do and your relationship status.
Hi, I'm Olivia Darcy. I'm 25 from Birmingham. I'm currently in a relationship and I'm an admin assistant.
Okay, interesting. And what's your current relationship status?
I'm in a relationship.
You're in a relationship, so I didn't even hear that. Sorry, I'm bugging. Don't mind. Okay, Genie. Is that how you pronounce it? Genie.
Yes, Genie. Yes.
Okay. Please introduce yourself, what you do, and your relationship status.
Okay, I'm Genie. I'm 36 years old. I am a singer-songwriter, and I am single currently.
Interesting, singer-songwriter. I like that. And finally, last but not least, Zainab. Introduce yourself, what you do, and your current relationship status, please.
Okay, so I'm Zainab. I'm 22, and I'm single, and I'm a student.
Interesting. What do you study?
Luxury fashion management. I'm doing a master's.
Oh, masters. Wow. Okay. And I've got a surprise for you guys. We've got a co-host with me. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Are you sure I can yeah? Okay. Cool, hi there. My name is Collins. I am African. And I'm actually based in London right now, but I'm actually from Africa, and I'm really excited to be here, guys. Thank you for having me, Kev, and the production team. I love the fact that you wanted to get a different perspective from, I guess, somebody that's more traditional in their ideas of relationships. So I can't wait to be here with these hosts and
traditional and fresh. Traditional and fresh.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. So let's start with the first question. The first question is a typical one, but we'd just like to get you guys' perspective on it. First date settings. Who would you want to pay for the date? Yourself, the gentleman, of course, or what's you guys' views? Olivia, please. What's your opinion on that, please?
I think it depends on who plans the date. So, for instance, if I invited my partner out, say we wasn't in a relationship, and I invited him out, I would ideally pay for the date. However, if he asked me to come out, then I would expect him to pay. However, I would still offer to offer to chip in, or offer to pay to or offer to go half even, just out of politeness. So yeah.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna ask all three questions, and I'm gonna ask Zainab next, and then we'll go Genie, and then I'm gonna discuss on something about dates and yeah, perspectives on dates. So Zainab, please go ahead. On what your perspective.
Okay. So, sorry, what was the question again?
So yeah, your first date. So first dates, what are you expecting? Like, who do you expect to be paying on the first date, basically?
I think it depends on the setting of the date. Don't you think? Because I feel like if you're going somewhere fancy, you might want to split the bill if it's a bit more pricey. But if you go into like the cinemas or something, I mean, it depends on the date. Let's just say that.
So the caliber of the date, the quality of the date, is that how you see it?
Exactly. Okay. Like if you're going to be wined and dined, I would expect the guy to pay, but I would pay as well, if that makes sense. Like I'd put myself forward and be like, "Oh, we can split it," and give the option.
Don't you think?
No, let her finish. Let her finish, please.
Yeah. So give the option that we can split it, but if you want to pay, that's great. So I think it depends on the date, really.
Okay, Genie, what's your perspective?
I agree with both of them, but if I was on the date, I will be paying.
Oh, if you were on the date?
If it was my thing, I will be paying.
Okay. Why though?
I'm just like that. I'm very generous like that, and because if there was going to be a date, it would be my idea. Anyway, I'm kind of a control freak.
Yeah, no, that makes
Yeah.
sense actually. Yeah, that reminds me of something what
okay,
like
so now
yeah.
so is there a change, a shift in how you think, or you just agree with him? Is that it?
No, I agree, but I will stick to what I said as well.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. This is what I wanted to ask all of you, especially the ladies. Say, Genie, would you have money backed up
Would we
just
have
in case that the gentleman didn't pay? He wasn't gentleman enough to pay. Would you have money backed up?
Yeah.
Just in,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just in
to
case.
save the
Yeah.
embarrassment, or would you feel
Yeah.
embarrassed?
100%.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree there. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so I say, so Olivia, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's you know, when going on a date, it's always important to have a backup plan just in case.
Yeah.
Have you been in a scenario like that before?
Oh God, no.
Oh,
I don't think
you
so.
thank God.
Same here.
No, I haven't.
Have you been, Zainab?
No, I haven't. No.
Genie?
Never, because I've always paid. That's why I pay.
Always paid.
Can I
If
say
you
something?
pay anything, there's no embarrassment anywhere.
Embarrassed. Okay.
No embarrassment.
Okay, well, do you know what? Myself, I do agree with Genie. I think as a tradition, I'm not completely sure if Genie sees it that way. As a traditional man, I would want to pay for my lady. You know, I would, because this idea of we should, you know, or maybe equal or depending on who asked. For me, is I don't really care who asked. Is I want to take care of my woman. Does that make? I don't know if how other people see it, because you know I understand people in the Western society see it differently. But for me, is I would always pay. I don't want my woman not to pay. Do you understand? You understand?
Yeah.
I understand.
I've got a
For me,
question.
yeah,
Sorry.
Olivia, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, is it Colin? I was just gonna say, you know, when you said as a traditional man, and you know, you would want to always pay for your lady, do you feel like that raises some sort of expectation throughout the relationship or the dating stage, or how would you approach that?
Ooh.
No, listen, it's a very interesting question. I cannot lie, but I would definitely say the expectation was already set. If we are really thinking about it deeply, I mean, am I? Is that something that you don't agree with in terms of expectations should be set, or because I think that's a
No,
very important thing.
No. I was just asking in general because you said that you know you would want to sort of pay for your lady and as a traditional man. So if we're looking at traditional, ideally the traditional thing is for a man to always take the bill, for the man to be the provider. So with that being kept in mind, I was just curious with whether this would be throughout the relationship or at one point you would step back as a man and let the woman pay or take the bill every now and then. So that's just my question to you.
No, this is a fantastic question. This is a fantastic question. I think for myself, I would say that again, this is just me from where I grew up in Africa. So I think where I view stuff.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing, yeah.
Yes, definitely. So I grew up where there will always be roles. As much as I've been in London just for a few months, and I'm realizing how I guess they think, and it's more so they don't mind to share roles, or maybe if the man can't do a certain thing and be a provider, the woman can do it. Whereas you have you have to just be a provider as a man. Not that woman can't do it, but because she can. But you would want to do that as a man, and that is it. But
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I was just curious. So yeah, it's good to know though.
Yeah, because I feel like in a lot of like male-dominated cultures, there is that sort of I want to be the protector, I want to be the provider, that's my job. And that like links in with like masculinity, like the guy feels masculine enough to like provide for his woman, like feed his kids. Do you get what I mean? Put food on the table. I think that's where it stems from a lot, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. For me, Kev is speaking. For me, I have to pay for my woman. That's my woman. That's my energy.
Guys, right, talk to them.
It's just common sense. So that's just how I feel on it. Okay, so for the second part of this for Debate for Love, we're gonna watch a video, guys, and then after you're gonna share your views after. So here goes the video, guys.
There are many women today who are out earning men, female doctors, lawyers, etc. Why is a male breadwinner considered to be normal for a man, while a female breadwinner is often considered to be dating down for a woman?
I think a lot of times we refer to back in the days when men were considered the breadwinners. They were the men. They were the people that brought home the money while the women stayed home. So now the generations have changed and things have changed. Now women are getting on their shit. Like, it's not just rely on a man anymore. It's do for your own, and he's gonna do for himself. And you guys can either do that shit together, or one person could be the breadwinner. I guess it all depends on what you agree on in your relationship, but I really do think that it has to do with the change over time.
Why is it that a rich man would sooner change a broke woman's life, but a rich woman is less likely to give a broke man a chance?
Because men like to have the power to uplift and feel like they're doing, I guess, like justice to the woman, versus a woman is like, I don't need to, I guess, you know what I'm trying to say? Kind of. I wouldn't necessarily agree with the second part of that question, because I honestly think it's more of a societal stigma where society just kind of like says that women have a problem being with a man of a certain financial, status. I don't necessarily think that that's what we as women think right off the bat, but.
So, guys, I do want to say that I'm the one that I wanted to put that video there just to get you guys opinion, because again, I found that it is very interesting how Western society answered that question. What do you think about
that? Was a very last minute video. I didn't expect that, but there was a bunch of videos we had, but that one, Colin. How do you say on that?
Yeah, but it fitted in with what we were saying about, the provider role. So in terms of the provider role, is that something that my question really is, do you feel that it is good for the provider role to switch at any point in time? Is that something that you guys think is okay or is not a good thing? That's what I want to know as a traditional man. Yeah, go on.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say, I think it's both, it's good and it's not really good as well. The reason why I'm just gonna go into, firstly, if a man chooses to be a provider, then good for him. He can do what he feels to do. If the woman chooses to be the provider too, he can do that. However, we also have to keep in mind, if say for the future that kids are involved, and at some point they're gonna have to come to a mutual understanding where you raise the kids, I stay at home, or I stay at home, you work. It's like these sort of things are really there to consider, because children also need love, affection, time, consistency, and this sort of stuff will truly only come from a parent. And we've seen it all the time with nannies. They can only give so much. So I feel like it's really good. I think it's perfectly fine if they decide to switch who the main provider is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my opinion. Whoever is best suited for the job, they can decide to choose whenever. Yeah. So yeah.
That was well said. I actually really like that answer. Zainab?
Zainab? I think that obviously with time we've sort of grown and evolved as people, that the man doesn't necessarily have just to be the breadwinner all the time. It can switch. Female can hold her own. She can go out, make her own money, live her life, pay for everything that she wants to, and at the same time can feel loved and catered and feel feminine at the same time.
I don't really agree with that one.
No, wait. Again, you're doing the whole interruption thing.
No, I'm not.
Zainab, please don't mind me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I feel like it's a question of gender roles as well, like how we've been brought up, how we see dolls as like staying at home, and how we see the guy going out and putting food on the table and going to work and then coming back and she's got food on the table, ready. So I feel like it's sort of instilled in us at a young age, but at the same time we have grown and we have evolved, and both men and women are equal nowadays. Even though we're still fighting for it, But yeah, I feel that it can intertwine and change depending on lifestyles and Going
I
on,
hear
yeah.
you. That's a very valid point as well. Do you mind if you just put down your volume just a bit down,
Yeah.
Zainab, please?
Yeah,
Just a
sure.
bit. Thank
Is
you.
that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better.
Okay,
It was
cool.
just echoing a bit. That's why.
Oh, okay, cool.
Genie, how do you feel about it, bro?
Okay, so I was born in London and I spent a lot of my childhood in London, but I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh,
And
My
while I
dad.
was in Lagos, yes, I was in Lagos, Nigeria for 15 years. And
okay.
when I was in Lagos, Nigeria, I studied a lot and watched people and watched relationships and stuff. So I understand where the African man is coming from because that's how they're programmed. They're programmed to be a certain way. The man is the provider, the man is the head of the family, the man is the king, and all that. But I'm sexually fluid, so I see things completely differently. I do things completely differently. And I've only been out with independent people. I've only been in relationships with independent people. We really don't think about roles or who's going to buy this today. We just do things. It is what it is. We don't. I don't like to put stresses on relationships like that. It is what it is. I'm not. Yeah. That's how I see things.
Collins.
Yeah, because a lot of those gender roles, sorry, let me finish quickly. Because a lot of those gender roles causes a lot of problems. Cool, because there are loads of strong women as well. There are loads of women who are masculine in energy, who like to dominate, who like to be on top, who like to, and there are some men who like to be passive as well. So yeah. So I feel like I feel like people really need to know themselves first, know who you are first, and then everything will show itself.
Indeed. Collins, you can finally speak because I know your mouth wants to.
Okay. So firstly, I want to say I do agree with some of the stuff people are saying. I do. I'm not. I think people think I think very old style. I'm traditional, but I'm not I'm not a grandpa. So what I want to say is that I want to ask you guys a question, really, because it's a situation of I do agree, but at the same time, there are some stuff that is not right from my point of view in terms of let's just the whole idea of equality now, right? I want to ask, like, in terms of the quality for men and women, do you guys think that we are equal in the whole sense of the word? Yes or no?
No, we're
No.
not.
We are not equal. Okay.
No.
So and this is one question I want to put forth to the women, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you are to have a man that cannot provide in a certain way for you and your children, and all of a sudden he's saying that, oh, I can't work today or something, I can't bring home the bacon, how would you feel about that man?
You wouldn't feel so great, would you? Because
No.
you'd feel really bad. Because I'm not saying it's circumstances do happen, and life gives us lemons every now and then. However, it wouldn't be the best situation, because I feel like once you have a child, your whole perspective on life changes.
Definitely.
Your priority is to ensure that child is looked after, is loved, and in order to look after a child, it's not free, unfortunately. So you want to have some form of financial stability. So yeah, if your partner did have a challenging moment with his job and stuff, ideally you would you would want to step in because you're a team, but it wouldn't be the best news to receive, because again, you would want to give your kids the best, so you want to get out of that situation. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I feel like it would depend on where he would be at that moment, what position he was in, what role was it? Was it promotion, or was it just like the end all be all, like I lost my job, I don't know what to do? But I also think that it's a team, you're there with your man and he's there with you, you're committed together and you can push forward. But then again, obviously you'll have external circumstances like bills, rent, mortgages, all that stuff, kids. Life is expensive, so I feel like it would depend on the situation most likely, and whether or not like you can pull your extra weight or take extra shifts, or depending what you're doing. So yeah, I think it's a really dependent question, I feel.
Is there room to be to have, you know, some sympathy. Let's say for example, there's a recession and you know there's a madness with work and stuff. Could you, yeah, have some sympathy? Could you give him time, or is it kind of like you ain't
Yeah,
getting
of
like
course.
that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like everybody needs time to adjust and to sort of move forward and think about, okay, this is what I need to do and this is what I need to plan, and so I can move forward. But of course, I definitely feel sympathy for him, 100%, because it's not easy to lose a job, but especially, you know, in a time of a recession or in the time where you're literally struggling to make ends meet. So yeah, sympathy would definitely be there. Yeah.
I was just going to say as well, I think this is why it's also extremely important for, you know, a couple to have savings and other investments other than just one source of income.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if things go wrong, you have something that you can both fall back on, you know, because like I said, life really has a way of surprising us. So always having a backup plan is super important. But I agree with Zainab. I think, yeah, if there's definitely have sympathy, but it's just as equally important to have some form of savings or some form of, you know, backup plan that you can go into when your partner or yourself, even you lose your job or you go through things, you know, that would be my add-in as well to that.
Yeah.
So if I just want to, Genie, you want to say something, Genie? You want to say something? Or?
I just wanted to say, first of all, stay prayed up so that you make sure that your energies are together. But I was just going to say, I love what they were both saying.
Okay, no, listen, I love it as well, but at the same time, I would also have to question, because I come from a very, I try to come from a very real place, you know, very real, and it has to be reality for me. So when I look at it from the point of view of, okay, let's do like a role play. If you don't mind, let's go for, I don't know, let's say Olivia and Genie, if you don't mind taking this walk with me, just let's just do something. I want to see something, basically. So. Okay. Let's say Olivia and Genie, both of you are married, you know, it's been a few years, maybe, you know, 5 years, basically, you are married. You now, you know, understand each other. The relationship is strong, you know, it's a good, strong relationship now. And then, Genie, you work hard, you work 50 hours a week. You are, you know, a person that really goes out there and gets his money, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Olivia, you work as well, but you don't work as much. You work maybe 10 hours a week, you know?
Yeah.
If that, maybe 5 hours a week, you know? Genie, you come home now. You come home. As soon as you enter the door, the whole house is upside down. The floor is crazy. The children are running. There's poo-poo all over the walls. Because it needs to be taken to another. We have to, if you want to really drum home a message, is to, you know, have to take it to an extreme. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but it makes sense. So let's just say poo-poo is not all over the walls, but poo-poo is on the ground. It's on the ground, right? So, Genie, as you come home, please remember, 50 hours a week, my friend, you are working. You come home now, the house is a mess. You are asking Olivia, she's saying, "Oh, darling, it's, you know, it's just been a long day." What would be your response to Olivia? Oh, yeah, talk to her now, please.
Well, the first thing is, if you come home and something like that is going on, then there's something wrong. You need to put everything aside and ask your lady, what is the matter? Why is this going on? And then from what she answers you, and you go from there. That's the only way, that's the clearest way I can answer that question. Because I see and view things differently. You know, even though I might be African like you, but I'm on a whole different plane. If something like that happens and you walk into the house and the house is upside down, there's something wrong. There's definitely something going on. And if you want to keep your house and you really love your family, then you need to ask your woman and your children, what is the problem? Why has this happened? And if they say, I'm just tired, I just don't want to do it, then that's different. But, you know, if she says, you know, I've been running after these kids and we can't do this, and I've gone to the shop, then you're going to have to put that work situation to a whole different level, and you have to chip in because you need to understand that the house is a it's a two-way thing. It's not just about the woman at the end of the day. Whether you go to work, and I've had this conversation with so many of my male friends. I don't care if you're working 1,000 hours a week. If you come back home and you're on this high horse of I'm the man and she's the woman, and when I come, she needs to. It don't work like that. You need to put your house together, because if you were single, who's going to look after your home? Who's going to clean for you? Who's going to wash for you? So you need to think about, you have to be selfless at the end of the day if you are when you are in a relationship. So you could work 1,000 hours, you can go across the sea. When you come back home, you also have to chip in. That's how I see things.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to Olivia, but I do want to say this, just for Eugene, is that you asked what is the reason. Now, her reason would be, well, babe, I'm working as well. Yes, I don't work as much, but I am also, you know, doing my own. I did work 10 hours myself. So that is why I couldn't have the time to clean it. That is her excuse.
Okay.
In that sense, what will be your answer?
Well, then we're going out. We're either going out. We're going out to eat or to have. Well, I'm going to do something to ease, because you have to listen to your woman. She says she's tired. You don't want a tired woman looking after your baby. Like, we're going out. Like, girl,
you're
get
amazing.
your
Oh my god.
That's yeah.
I mean, I completely I can empathize with your.
This is what I'm gonna say. This is Kev speaking.
But I want to
wait. Hold on. Say, I'll interrupt you like you've been interrupting. Sweetness is nice. Olivia, I heard you say sweet. Zainab, you might agree as well, but sweetness can be taken for granted. Let's be real. It can be taken for granted, and you know, yeah.
Okay. So listen, as I said, I agree with it. I definitely agree with what Genie says. It's not like what he's saying is not wrong, and also this is opinion. So this is his opinion, and it's definitely, you know, is one that I can understand. But from the point of view of if I'm me personally, I don't know about anybody. Personally, if I'm coming home and the house is upside down, I would have to as he said, sit my woman down, but mainly get an explanation as to why things are not right or things are not clean, you know, because why? Let's be honest with ourselves. The person that is working the most is someone that's going to want to make sure that, okay, while I'm doing my own, like they've said, it's a partnership, and while I'm doing my own, you have to do your own. So I want to, please, can I just, let me land, please, thank you. So I want to flip it and give it to Olivia now, right? Let's just say we flipped the roles. You are working 45,000 hours, like Genie said there, right? Right? Genie is the one taking care of the children at home. You come in after working bloody crazy hours, and you see everything is just a mess, basically. Genie is working 10 hours a week. Not even that. What would be, after coming home and you're seeing this craziness, what would be your response to Genie?
Do you know what? I know it sounds crazy. Like yourself, I would also want to know, like, have an explanation to us why, you know, things are this way. However, you know, our partnership, I see it as a team. I would approach it as a team, as a teammate, you know, why are we struggling? What's going on here? Especially if this is not my partner's usual behaviors and it just happens that he's had a bad day, we would, you know, both approach it as a team. I wouldn't attack him or go crazy on him because he's had a hard day. And, you know, raising kids in this instance, it's not a joke. Children are literally a full-time job, just as much as working 50,000 hours a day. But I'm just saying, I would approach it as a team and meet him halfway. We wouldn't obviously go out for dinner just because, you know, it's just, yeah, we want to clean up the house first, you know, and then afterwards I'd probably say, I'd probably say take it from there. But dinner's nice. But I'm just saying, I would approach it as a team and try and find out why, and then help him instead of attack him, because that's the healthy way.
For me, love is not always a sweet thing. Sometimes love is to be difficult though, and to really pattern your partner. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like what about if the team approach doesn't always work, and it's like it's still a consistent thing from your other partner, how do you deal with it then?
I think there's a way to like approach things where you may have to sit down and have a conversation, you know, and if you still don't see changes, maybe you possibly switch the roles. So maybe you find them something else to do, and then you take on the role that they're struggling to do. Do you know what I mean? So there's always a way to meet halfway. It doesn't just, you know, maybe this is not your partner's strength. You know, maybe cleaning's not your partner's strength, and you can clean. So instead of like saying, hey, you should do this more often, if you've had that conversation and it doesn't work, then maybe you can do the cleaning and they can take on another strength of you, another thing that you do to make it equal, you know, to balance it out. But I don't think arguing and, you know, kind of putting your partner in check is the healthy way. I think there's communication is so important in relationships, and you know, it takes you a long way. So yeah, you know.
Zainab, what's your input on it? And do you think Western society has kind of like had an impact on relationships, well, modern relationships nowadays?
I think they have a lot, especially with like social media and seeing things in the media as well, and like different ways people are being educated now, and it's not just the man's the provider. Obviously, I get if you're traditional and you want that, that's perfectly for you. But if you don't want that, like myself, I would want a very equal relationship. So if there's some things I can't do, I would expect him to do it and pull his weight. If there's something he can't do, vice versa. So I feel like a lot of this is basically stemmed from, again, childhood, how you've been brought up, how you saw your own parents, and how you would like to do it. And sort of use that as a sort of crutch to sort of push like new values, new traditions. So yeah, I understand like coming home and you're hard at work and the house is upside down. Like I get it. But at the same time, there's ways to work around it. You don't just leave it to the woman and say, that's your issue. That's it. You know, you don't just do that. Because I would feel a certain way about it. If that was me in that situation, I'd feel like, no, why is it all my fault? I still work. I still, you know, put bread on the table too. But I would want your help. You're in this relationship together. You made these kids together. Do you get what I mean? So it's sort of that, it's teamwork at the end of the day. You have to sort of work out something to make it better. So yeah, that's what I think.
A question to all. You have something to say, Genie?
Now, I just wanted to say, because one thing I know about women, a woman wants to loves a man to fold laundry, hoover the floor sometimes. So I understand what you're talking about, because women want men to be, no matter how much you make, because sometimes for women, it's not about the money. Sometimes they just want a man that's attentive, a man that's there, a man that's, you know, that's hands-on. Because a woman don't like a man coming home saying, you know, I've done this, and I've done this. It's just it really has a strain on the relationship.
It does. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, sorry, I was going to add as well, is what Zainab said about, you know, being one-sided and just letting the woman do it. I find a lot of the time as well, something that traditional marriages have had issues with is once the woman has the child, she automatically sort of has to be, you know, submissive, or they put a label on, you know, you have to bow down to the man, you have to cook dinner at 6 p.m. and wake up at 6 in the morning. And it's really like, you know, you can imagine already when you have children, you have so much pressure that you're going through. So much women go through postpartum, you know, men go through it as well, you know, after they can't, you know, they embark on the whole fatherhood thing. So I feel like a lot of traditional marriages have failed due to just being stuck on that journey of the man's the provider, the woman takes care of everything else. I think that's such a bad way to look at it, because, you know, you made those kids, like Zainab said, you made the kids together. A family takes more than just money to build, you know. And, you know, when we keep that in mind, we then sort of realize that, again, it's a team player thing. And, you know, you just need to really meet each other halfway in order for it to work. Because, you know, a lot of our parents' marriages has not gone forward due to the whole traditional thing, and it hasn't worked. So that's just, that was just another thing that I wanted to add on to there.
Yep, indeed. I hear you. Collins has something to say. He wants to share something.
No, I mean this. I don't know if what you saw what I put on here. So I'm someone that I like to bring up some like facts and figures is very very important as well. So in terms of maybe like I found a lot now that there's a lot of talk about marriage and divorces. Like marriage is on the decline and divorces are on the incline. Just look at if I just like for example like this now, we found this here. And it's just a graph showing what is going on essentially within England and Wales. It shows from 1950 to 2019, basically. And it's seen, as you can see, the divorce rates have gone up, which is something very interesting within England and Wales. I can't say for other places, maybe America, I don't know, but here it's very interesting. So do you guys maybe have I don't want to say a reason, but an idea or why you think this is happening? Because for me, I'm starting to think that maybe it's because there's not really much of an understanding nowadays of how two people should come together and as people said, marriage is work. It's something that's actually work. So
It's looking very worrying now, to be honest.
it's worrying. So I want to know from my point of view. I wanted to know from people that are based in Western. What do you think?
Okay, can I say? Okay,
Yeah.
so for me, I feel like people are rushing marriages. You're hearing people getting married within 3 months, people getting married within 45 days. It just
Yeah.
makes no sense. I feel like you need to go on a self-discovery journey. You need to know who you are. You need to know what you want to do. You need to have a foundation. You need to have a spiritual foundation. I'm not forcing my beliefs on anybody. I believe you need to have a spiritual foundation.
Yeah.
You have to have healthy friendships. It's very important before you go into a relationship. You need to have healthy friendships. So I believe you need to have a foundation with relationships within the home. I do understand that a lot of people come from broken homes. So that's why it's very important to go on a self-discovery situation so that once you know who you are, a lot of the negative traits people project, you already know who you are, and you will always attract somebody who is just like you, which means you will always have somebody who will be in harmony with you. And to be quite honest, I don't believe people should even be getting married, but that's a whole different situation. So yeah.
You don't believe people should get married? You don't believe in it?
No, not in this day and age. I feel like we need to reset individually, because I believe in order for you to come together, you need to be.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, Genie. I get it, because I feel like a lot of the culture nowadays is baby mamas and sort of like, oh yeah, I'm with him and I had a baby and that's it, we broke up, right?
Yeah.
You see that a lot nowadays, even in celebrity culture. That's a normal thing, like celebrities like Courtney and Travis and like Scott Disick, like she had 3 kids with that man, but he still wasn't the one. So
who are these people? I don't know. Who are the people?
No, it's just that celebs from America.
Okay, I don't. Okay.
You know,
yeah,
Kim K.
like,
I know Kim K. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Kim K.
Okay, I know that one.
Kim K's sister. Let's just put it that way. There's a lot of them, but one of them. And so like the culture there, where it's it didn't work out, but it's fine. But I have a baby. But then obviously you're taking care of that baby at the same time, and he has to pull his weight as well. So it's sort of mixed families. That sort of culture has become way bigger. Getting married, I feel like, has sort of gone downhill a little bit. I don't know why personally, but I think maybe the stigma of sort of being attached to someone completely. But when you're in an open relationship, you're free to come and go, right? You can leave if you want to, but you can stay if you want to as well. It just depends on like the situation in the relationship. But I feel like the divorce rate, maybe people getting married too young. I know a lot in some other cultures that people get married at a young age, and then obviously Genie, you said that they don't find themselves, and they're 25, like people going out and having like fun and traveling and actually learning about themselves when they're stuck at home with a kid at 25 and they haven't done the things that they want to do yet. So I feel like, again, you said self-discovery, so I feel that plays a really, really big part in sort of why some of these marriages fail, and maybe looking at previous marriages, your own trauma, your own sort of mental capacity to actually understand, like, okay, this is what happened with my parents. I don't want that to happen, and sort of understanding
Exactly. Thank you.
that, so
People
like
need to
getting into
Things
like,
need to be dealt with.
yeah, like healing your own personal traumas and anxieties before you commit to someone else. Otherwise, you're gonna pass that on to your partner, to your kids. It's gonna be like a rolling thing. You want to break that generational curse. Do you get what I mean? And sort of like move on from there. So yeah, that's what I think.
Any of you guys heard about the Johnny Depp situation?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yes. I've been, fully, yeah. I'm glad he won, if I'm honest.
Long day.
That's another topic in itself.
That is another topic.
A long day.
The direction we're going in.
I was just gonna say as well. I think I agree with these two guys when they said as well that it's about working on ourselves before marrying, because you know the saying, you can't love somebody else unless you don't love yourself, no matter how much you try to portray it. I think as well, a lot of the time marriages are failing because there's this sort of expectation now to do with social media. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, people see social media. It's this weird perception of what life isn't at all. But it's just if life was better, you know. And there's some people take it too seriously. And you know, say for example, Chantal's friend Stacy posted her husband took her to Maldives, right, for their anniversary. Chantal would then go back to Jerry and say, "Hey Jerry, why have you not done this?" You know, and then it causes a lot of pressure on marriages. People are getting married just because so and so got married, and they want to challenge each other, you know, without even having no sort of understanding what marriage even is. You're spending thousands of pounds just for a celebration and to take pictures and post it on Snap. That's not what marriage is. I think marriage begins once you finish the party, and you have to accept that, you know, you have to live with this person and deal with this person for the rest of your life. And I feel like you know, because people don't really understand that, they don't actually understand the gravitas of commitment. So what they do is they get married for a year and then they're like, oh, I don't like this person, not that they even knew the person in the first place, and they're like, oh, there's other options, let me go have a divorce. And then this is why we're having this, you know, on and on, this continuous thing. Whereas back in the day, our parents or our parents' parents, whoever it was, you know, when they got married, they knew that, you know, they knew the importance and the value of commitment and the actual vow to death do us part. And this is why divorce wasn't as common. And I feel like a lot of the time as well, it could play a massive factor is listening to your friends. You're a married woman, but you hang around with single friends. What are you going to gain from that? You know, you're telling your relationship problems to your single friends. You know what I mean? It's not making sense. They're not going to guide you where you need to be guided. They're going to guide you to, hey, dump that guy because we're single and you should join the puddle. So I really think it's a lot of factors to look at. But a major one for me is commitment and knowing how to communicate and to humble ourselves enough to make it work, rather than thinking, hey, it's fine, let's get married and I'll have a divorce tomorrow, you know, and not actually realizing what the word marriage in itself means. So that's just
what I'm hearing is a lot of wisdom.
Thank you, man.
Me personally, sorry,
can I just butt in? Sorry.
Okay, go on, please.
I also think that in certain cultures, like obviously the South Asian culture, a lot of them get married young. A lot of them do. I knew one of my friends who's just gotten married, and I'm like, what? You're the same age as me. Like, that's crazy. And I feel like that's the culture. You get married young, you have kids young, and then that's it. But then I'm like, but what about the extra stuff? What about finding yourself? What about feeling like you've achieved something, you know, on your own? You don't have to rely on someone or go to someone's house and be like, oh yeah, I did this to showcase what, you know, to someone else. Don't you want to feel like happy for yourself and like thriving? Like, yes, I did that. I went out and did it, and this is my trophy. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of in like Asian cultures, it's the culture sort of get married young. When I feel like there's some individuals like myself who don't want to. Like, I want to find myself. I want to sort of get my career out of the way. I want to thrive. I want to make my own money. and sort
Money,
of like
yeah.
live off my it just thrive, you know. And yeah, that's what I think basically, and
But
that's probably why.
No, sorry, I'm sorry. I want to, because that point there that you pointed on there, which is you want to, get your career, and is I mean that's absolutely fine. But I do like what Olivia mentioned, which was she said social media. Now for me, I think it's not just social media. I think media in general. I think when you look at from the point of view of the access that Western people have, I'm realizing it's so is you get exposure to the whole world, so you can see so much. I can tell you, me kind of background from, we don't have access like that to stuff like internet or Instagram like that, whereas you guys have so much of that. So it gives your option, the pool of stuff you can pull from is so massive, and I believe that is really giving. It's not making people settle down because people think that they can get more. I can get more. Oh, this person is DMing me. I can get this person to DM me. Oh, this person can fly me. Let me fly me out here as well. So media is also, I believe, training not just women, men as well, but I believe media is training them to, almost like, this is going to sound controversial, but I'm sorry, I have to say it. I believe that media is training them to focus on things that is not really aligned with who they are or who they want to be or who they should really be properly. Because your career is important. Nobody's saying don't chase the career, but at the end of the day, I believe that a woman would naturally want a family, because a man cannot give birth. We cannot do that time thing. We can't do them things, but a woman can. Now, when you ask, a lot of them will tell you yes, they want to have children, but the problem is when you keep on putting it off, it does make it harder for a woman. Whereas a man naturally, as you guys know, a man can have a child with a woman at whatever age, but a woman that wants to have her own children, she needs to really think about that and maybe not listen too much, like Olivia said, friends, social media, media in general, telling you that go and get the bag, honey. Go and get the bag, honey. But guess what? What is that going to do when I am childless and I am
the bag, yeah?
very careful.
You got to fill the bag, man.
Very careful what you are taking in from the media. The media are dangerous bastards. That's just my own opinion. Very dangerous. I know people are laughing, but it's worrying. What do you think about that, Genie? What do you think?
Okay, so my grandmother raised me, and with her husband. So for me, I understand where you're coming from. Get the money, because that's how I see things as well. Because times really have changed. Because if you don't have a financial foundation, it's very important. Love is everything, but love sometimes is not enough. So, and my grandmothers, they had land, they had houses, they didn't have to pay rent. So so that's why for me, because obviously I don't live in Nigeria. My mom's she's mixed race, so I was born here, but yes, I did live there. But for me, it's a thing of, I watched how they live their life. They never argued about money. They never argued about bills because they had houses everywhere. So money is very important if you don't have it, but it's very easy to make money these days. So you don't have to kill yourself and stress yourself to do you understand what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people, because they're watching all these Bentleys and stuff, they start committing fraud and all that stuff. Like these days, you don't really need to do that anymore. Like, take things slowly, take things easy. I'm a fan believer in slow and steady. All this rushing, the whole Instagram thing. I'm gonna do what my neighbor's doing, and I'm gonna do what he's doing.
Yeah. I feel
Slow
like
and steady.
that nowadays.
Even though it's serious.
Social media, it's like, let me jump on this and let me jump on that, let me jump on this. It's like, no, you got to smell the roses at some point. I understand, like, everyone's trying to get that bag, everyone's just trying to make it, everyone's just trying to, live the life that they want to live. But at the same time, it takes time, effort, and money. And, like, sometimes that's not a priority. To get that Bentley, maybe that's not a priority. Maybe actually securing your education is a priority for you to actually get that Bentley, So I think baby steps are really important, I feel like, and not just copying what someone else is doing, because that may not work for you. It works for that person, but there could be like 10 other roadblocks for you, and that was only one roadblock for that guy. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just baby steps. You just need to think about things clearly with a clear mind. Don't just be like, oh yeah, 100% yes. Because I used to be that person. I used to be a yes person all the time, especially when you're at work. And it's like, yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, it's fine. Extra work. But at the same time, it's like, do I actually want to do it? Are they just using me? You know, do I actually need that money, or am I just doing it to please other people? You know, it's that sort of question that you need to ask yourself and be like, calm down. Am I doing this for my own good, or am I doing it to impress other people? Because that's what people will do. They'll just do it to impress like Tom down the road. Like, who cares what Tom thinks? You know?
Tom doesn't even care half the time because Tom's doing his own thing. And I think as well, sorry to just interrupt you there.
No,
I was gonna say as well, like, if you look at most of the trends, right, that's set today, like let's say even words like secure the bag, you know, I'm a bad bee, whatever, it's not really targeted for it's targeted for a certain age range.
I agree.
Teenagers or 19s who are starting. It's not really targeted for a person who actually knows they want what they want in life. Someone who actually knows exactly what path they're going into. Certain trends now, they're really just set out for the younger generation, younger minds who are easy to set aside and sway. Do you know what I mean? But someone who has a strong sort of foundation and a strong set common ground, and you know, just a set personality and a strong head, they would not easily look at a Bentley and look at that as a priority. They'll look at a mortgage and say, hey, this is more important to me than spending stupid amounts on a car. You can't live in a car. Do you know what I mean? You can't live in a car. It's just a car. You'll drive it, and then once you finish driving it, what happens? So I feel like certain trends are actually set out for certain age ranges and certain individuals. It then becomes a problem if you are what you call an older and you're following those trends and you're kind of like, bro, it's past your age, like, you don't respect yourself. If you get past the age and you're an older, you need to really start thinking about life. And if you don't do that, then sorry for you. I don't know. You need Jesus.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Olivia, because you'll sort of fall behind. You'll fall behind and you'll be like, oh, all my mates and all my friends are just have got a house, got kids, got life, and then you're still here trying to follow trends. How's that going to work out? Is it working out for you now? Because if it's not, then you're going to have to change your whole idea on life and how you actually want to pursue the rest of your life. So yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying there.
Guys, I feel like a lot of wisdom has been expressed on this show. It's been a great show. It's been fully packed with you guys' perspectives, and that's been great. It's been a great show. But you know, we have to wrap things up. Unfortunately, we can go on for hours, I'm sure. Just let us know where we can follow you on your socials, Insta, Twitter, wherever that is. Olivia Stein.
You guys can follow me on my Snapchat, a bit old, but it's Livy, so that's LIVVY 387. That's where you guys can find me.
Genie?
Well, I'm on YouTube. That's where all my stuff is. My music, I have interviews, I have stuff. So it's just Genie Spaceship or Genie L Stars. That's Genie, an L, E-L, and then Stars, STARZ.
Zainab?
And you can follow me on Instagram, and it's @yourgirlZainab_.
Okay, cool. That's any last thoughts on the show?
I think this is amazing.
You guys.
It's our first show, so we're just a slow start, but yeah, we'll get there. I'm new to presenting, to be honest, so I'm a bit shy, to be honest, on the mic, but yeah, I'll get there.
Listen, personally, I think the guests were absolutely amazing. I definitely want to say that a lot of the stuff that they said, I agree with. My gripe if I want to say my gripe is, I have gripe with the media. I think the media need to stop the nonsense that they are, putting out there for people to essentially.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Make something go around. It's not gonna happen.
No,
yourself.
I think that this is the only way for relationships to really become more valuable, and for people to really start to see it as an important thing, because it's very easy to get lost when you are watching other people, if that makes sense. Everybody on the panel has mentioned about how, watching celebrities here or this person here. So, that is why to me it's very, very important that media, either we try to change what people are listening to, maybe like more the younger people, what they're listening to, and give them something of substance, as opposed to just all this nonsense, watching these celebrity couples, then they break up, and we wonder why divorce is on the rise, stuff like that. So that is my gripe is for media people. So for the media, stop your nonsense, please. Amazing people on this panel, and people need to listen to them more, because the media, they are false flagging, definitely. Nonsense now, come on.
Guys, it's been a pleasure.
I mean, come on.
Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your words of wisdom.
For having us.
Have a blessed weekend.
And
Yeah,
you.
the sun is out.
You
It was meant to be
too.
raining today, but hey, sun is out.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
Yeah.
sun.
Anywhere. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Take care.
Take
Right.
care.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye, guys. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Wait for
Bye.
love.
Bye.
Despite everything, say you won't give up. Would you debate? Wait for love. Despite everything, say you won't give up.